Welcome back to Starladder I-League Invitational, Starladder ImbaTV Invitational, Season 5. We're here in the middle of Group A, and at the end of Group A actually, because we have our last match already. We have one more team to be eliminated from Group A, and it's going to be, at this moment, it looks like it's going to be FlyToMoon. They need to force out a third game there, as these are the brackets. Optic already has moved through, and Kingwin has already been eliminated as well. A group full of 3-game series. Perhaps FlyToMoon.
That's what we like, right?
That's what we like. More Dota. But they need to, I mean, we like more Dota, don't get us wrong, but they need to shape it up because that previous game didn't show the best side of either team. Even though VGJ.Thunder obviously come out ahead, it's not the way they wanted it to.
Yeah, I don't want to be too negative because, once again, they won. But the more I think about this role swap for VGJ.Thunder, the more it bothers me. I go back last year. I don't know if anybody remembers a team called IG Vitality. And IG Vitality had finished top 4 at DAC. They were a team that everybody was looking at as on the rise. And they, for whatever reason, felt the need to switch Sakata and Paparazzi, running Paparazzi mid, who had been safe lane. And the team just never looked the same after that. They bombed out the first round of the Kiev Major. They were bottom 4 at TI and just have kind of never been heard from again. Paparazzi, of course, is back. But that's what I worry about. This VGJ.Thunder team, yes, they had some adjustments to make. I'm not confident about this role swap.
Well, maybe that was just for
maybe
this
for
one game.
Sure.
We'll see. Yeah,
Sure.
I think RTK knows that Lena should not lose that hard. Maybe has a couple of advices to give between the games, even though they won. He still didn't look too happy, so your point is,
it's
good.
RTK.
I was gonna say, does he ever look happy?
Maybe after a TI win.
Yeah.
Yes. I would say so. I would hope so.
After he told Loda to kiss his ass, he looked pretty happy.
This is true. They have a long road to get there, though. They are top 8 at the moment in the DPC points, which is great, but they are actually 8th. So they're very close to not being in the top 8, and they need to get some more points. And for that, they need to actually advance here and hopefully for them take the whole thing home, in which case they would actually rise a rank. But their performance that we saw just now, not enough to beat top 8, I think. They won. Which is good for them, but they did lose that early game. How are they gonna set themselves up for success better in this next game?
Well, I think what matters, even if they lose the early game, how to come back, which they showed the strength. Sometimes they lack that maybe experience, maybe an in-game leader, but DDC as a veteran knows how to come back, and we saw that fight at the bottom tower. That was the comeback point from my point of view, where he set up the 2-man Cask and Maledict and bought enough time for his team to come and just get those juicy net worth, high net worth heroes.
I mean, to counterbalance some of the negativity, right? If there is one good thing about the run that VGJ has been on this season, it's been that DDC has finally gotten some love, right? Ooh. This guy has played very well. Blitz called him on the last time we were on a panel together, called him his favorite 5-position player in the game right now. So justifiable. Finally, the veteran support player getting some love.
Finally, the 5-position getting some love.
Yeah.
Well, I think this is a patch of position 5 heroes. Most of the people talk about position 5 heroes, not just heroes, but position 5 heroes in-game leaders.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think that's been the, when you talk about not only within particular games and even within LANs, but just the grind this season, having an experienced captain capable of taking teams to multiple events, dealing with the wear and tear that you accumulate. I think that's been huge.
5 heroes don't feel that influential.
Right.
Yeah.
And especially that's partly why I really don't like this tower gold nerf with 7-1-3. I think that's
going to starve them more.
Yeah. I mean, supports get, relatively speaking, most of their gold from buildings.
Well, they got some loving yesterday from the Frog, right?
True. Yeah, a little early game buff.
HP, right?
Yeah, I hear best early game team's important.
Yeah, well, this Starladder has been played on 3 patches.
This is true.
Maybe Monday should be patch day? No,
we're just waiting for today. Maybe just some balance changes.
Oh wow! You want to go just
every
go
day,
ahead, man.
Every 4-day event.
Every day is a new
patch
day.
Every day. That would be something. That would be a first, I think, as well. On the other side of VGJ.Thunder is, of course, FlyToMoon, a very young team. They have made themselves known, like they registered themselves in January, and that was like Iceberg saying, "I'm not invited to a team." So I gotta make my own. But he's been doing okay. Is he the in-game leader or is it always want to fly? I know Iceberg is the drafter, but in terms of in-game leader, we just said position 5. I always want to fly is a very experienced player as well.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's doing some of the calls as well.
I mean, most teams do have a mix of shot calling. And most teams, it's going to be the supports dictating the action more early on, and the cores as the game goes on.
Yeah, what do we think about FlyToMoon? Because they did do good in the early stage of this this last game. They couldn't close it out though.
I'll go back to the draft problem. Once you go for Shadowfiend with the Spellcaster build, you need someone that scales well into the late game. Tiny is not that hero, because you want to have a tower damage, you want to have something like a Terrorblade, a Dragonite, a DP, whatever, just so you can take down the objectives.
Yeah, and to the point that you made, Lacoste, I liked, you did point out in some of those highlights that Nangrata missed a couple of the hooks, and that's going to happen. You know, we talked about in the open before about how he's the only one of the 5 that doesn't really have that LAN experience under his belt. You're going to have bad games as an offlaner anyway. It's a volatile role, and with your youngest player, not necessarily youngest age-wise, but experience-wise player in that role, that's going to happen. I just think you, as a team, you look to put him in a good laning situation in the next game, help him bounce back.
Yeah, set him up for success.
Yes.
That's also what Iceberg does for himself, though. So he's got to make a choice with that. Yeah. He did have a good laning stage on that Shadow Fiend. Had the Elder Titan help him out as well. No Fear on that one. Do we feel like No Fear, is that the right hero for No Fear and Elder Titan?
Well, he plays a variety of the heroes. I still think we're not gonna see Treant Protector again. They're probably gonna ban it out.
Yeah, I would imagine so. We're gonna find out.
Tusk is gonna be highly contested again. It's gonna be either banned or picked. Same gonna go for DP probably. They banned out. I think every single time they banned out Bounty Hunter.
Yep, VGJ.Thunder banned out Bounty Hunter. Indeed, and the Death Prophet as well. So far, no surprises.
Yes.
It was the Chen, the Bounty Hunter, and the Treant.
Interesting to me that Chen's still gotten a lot of first phase bans in this tournament. I was really questioning whether this hero would fall off quite a bit with the change to Sunback. You can no longer do the off-lane Chen gimmick, but he was run a few times at DAC. Still looked okay.
We saw Chen yesterday as well,
yes,
right?
It's still a great hero. Scales well with Aghanim Scepter, and the early aggression that you achieve is just too good for your team. I mean, before the changes, I think a lot of people would agree that he was OP. Like, that should not happen. You should not have a hero that can destroy the enemy safe lane like that. And they use a glyph. You can push the tower. You have actually three creep waves coming into your tower with the Chen creep and 2 heroes.
Quite possibly same 6 bans, but no, the respect ban of the Kunkka. And yeah, no surprise, Tiny left on the table. It was FlyToMoon last time. It'll be VGJ.Thunder this one.
And Tusk is therefore left into the pool with FlyToMoon banning out the Kunkka instead of the Tusk.
Yes, that's the flaxiest pick you can get.
There it is.
Tiny. I mean, he is even better in this batch because of he has his own status resistance and has more magical resistance than he had before. Most of the Tiny players pick up 30 damage talent anyway, because you want to go for that Echo Saber double hit, which provides you a lot of solo pickup ability.
He's still, after the 7-1-2 change, he's still not quite the, interesting, it's a mirror image drafting, right? He lost that 1 point of regen, now 1.5 instead of 2.5, so not quite as dominant a 1v1 laner, but still very threatening in those aggro duel lanes.
So this is the hero that we see more often, Lion. I love to see him as a counter to Dark Willow, because you have a ground stun, controls her really well. Also, one of the better heroes is position 5 heroes against the Terrorblade.
Yeah, and that with the mana reduction on his Impale, you can cast that spell now 4 times at level 1.
Pretty strong. Which opening do you like more?
Well, that's pretty much the same opening.
Yeah, it's just reverse.
Well, no, we have a Lion instead of Rubik.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there's that.
I do like this Tusk Witch Doctor Open quite a bit. I think we have talked a little bit about in some of the panel segments in this event about teams have been getting punished for revealing both supports early in the draft. If you are going to do that, I think this is a very good support duo to do it with.
It is, but I always say whenever I see those two, I think of a Puck, because you can't lock him down and he can provide so much space. We've seen that in Fnatic game against Navi, where Puck bought enough time for Medusa to come online. There was also a Pango.
Well, but again, and not only that, but in the VGJ.Thunder game the other night against Optic, that Puck TA matchup, the way you deal with that is you pick somebody that counters Puck in lane, and the TA was supposed to do that. Well, we shall see. VGJ.Thunder has not gone toward TA too many times.
I'm curious if Sylar and Freeze are going to swap roles again. I wonder if they consider the previous game a success or not. For Freeze, it was a success. For Sylar, a little bit less so.
It was just, it felt very different because it just to explain some of my concern to the audience, it is really almost compulsory now if you want to be a top team. You got to have modular cores. You got to have cores, all three cores capable of playing in all three lanes because laning matchups now are so important. But that, just the fact that you have a traditional mid-hero mid, a traditional safe lane hero safe lane, and you still have the two cores interchanging roles, that's still very unusual, even in this meta.
Yeah, and then it begs the question, why did they decide that? Was it because they wanted to give Freeze Gyrocopter, or did they want Sylar on Alina? It's a question we'll probably never get an answer to.
Well, this is the hero that seen a lot of love in this tournament. Kinguin ran it as position 4, a little unusual earlier on today. VGJ, I believe VGJ.Thunder last picked it in their opening game of the tournament against FlyToMoon. Did not work out in that game.
Yeah, the Doom is kind of considered as a counter to Terrorblade, and also against the Tiny. His Infernal Blade is a percentage-based damage.
Yeah, I think the idea being too that Doom is really, really good. There are situations where your draft isn't necessarily intended to be single core, but there are situations like the last game where it becomes that because the Gyrocopter is the only hero that's farming, and the Doom really punishes that super heavily.
The Dark Willow.
Oh, well, if Lion is good against Dark Willow, go ahead and pick up the Lion and the Dark Willow, and now you have you have a support duo here that basically will force almost any core to buy a BKB, unless you just want to pick a Lifestealer.
They want to pick an OD instead. Yeah, you can keep people safe. That's nice.
This is
save him from the Cursed Crown.
It's a signature hero. They love these double save configurations with the Tusk and the Astral, and this is a signature hero for Iceberg throughout his career. Has some of the best pro numbers on this hero that we've ever seen.
Yeah, also OD is really good against the Tiny. I mean, in the laning stage is all right, especially in the mid and the late game. But they could go for something like a Phantom Lancer. They don't have too much to clear the Phantom Lancer illusions. OD does that decent, but you don't. If you have 5 illusions on you, you're not gonna start hitting them.
I expect Lifestealer to be thought about by both teams. All right, here's your Puck. Maybe a pick later than we expected, but still on the board.
Gyrocopter's still in the pool.
Where do you see this Puck laning wise?
I think it's gonna be an off-lane Puck. You can easily put the Dark Willow with him at the start and just like you have 2 pretty much phase shifts and one of them deals damage.
Yep, I like it. No, I really like it. Yeah, the dive potential of the Dark Willow as a support is just super scary early on.
And they can place Puck on mid, put Tiny in 1 versus 1 scenario, and go aggressive tri lane with Lion and Dark Willow. I just love Dark Willow in the 3 versus 3 scenarios. She's so strong, hard to kill, provides you with the stun. It's an AoE stun.
know that FlyToMoon have run it, but let me throw out something unusual and say that if you think that they're going to try to isolate the tiny 1v1 against you, here you look at it as the Monkey King. Haven't seen as much of him lately, but
Willow is quite decent against Monkey King.
Monkey King is all right when you have a favorable matchup, when you play against a Tidehunter, against an Underlord, when you have a free lane. He's really not the comeback hero.
FlyToMoon digging deep here. They ended up removing Styler's Lycan.
Yeah, I think that's a good call.
FlyToMoon needs tower damage, like they have 0 at this moment. They could go for something like a Troll. He's one of the heroes that builds into BKB, or they can go for something like a Dragon Knight. Yes, with the OD, it's a great synergy.
I think Dragon Knight would work for both sides. I actually think that VGJ.Thunder could stand some more tower damage. You talk about Tiny being a tower hitter. He is, but the way that Tiny is generally built nowadays, he doesn't become a tower hitter until relatively late.
Yeah, well, you need to take a fight to get a pick off, then you can hit towers.
A Lifestealer removed and a Medusa picked up.
Ooh.
Medusa into OD.
And that will more than likely be, I have to believe that they're going to go back to the freeze Medusa mid and probably put Sylar on the tiny safe lane and Yang Puck.
You troubled by the Medusa against an OD?
Yes, I don't like they have really squishy heroes, both Puck, Dark Willow and Lion. Yes, 2 of them have an escape mechanism, but if they run at you, like you need to pop Medusa ulti to run away, and the only frontliner they have is a Tiny, which is going to be free intelligence for OD.
It's weird. I have actually seen. I'm not sure how to handicap this OD versus Medusa matchup because I've seen it go very strongly in both directions in pro games. I've seen like OD pretty much Astral the Medusa and ignore her, and I've seen Medusa really punish the Outworld Devourer. I love this Gyrocopter. Again, silent, you know, 107 wins on Gyro all time. This is a good draft, I think, by FlyToMoon.
Yes, I agree. They have a lot of save. 2 saves actually really hard to kill, and they have a good counter to a Medusa, which I'm surprised that they actually decided to pick.
So,
I think I like this draft well enough. I liked VGJ.Thunder going into the series, but I think I like the draft well enough. I'm going to pick FlyToMoon.
All right.
Already picked FlyToMoon. What it seems to be. Yeah, I would say that VGJ is a better team. They might take this, but it's going to be hard. This could last for a 50, 60 minute plus, then they can win the game. Otherwise, I don't think they're going to win it. All
right, FlyToMoon. How can I go against the Gyrocopter from Silent, right? That is a tough ask. Let's find out what's going to happen in the second game with OD Pixel and Gods.
Yeah, thank you very much, Shiva. Medusa versus Gyrocopter could be a battle for the late game. We'll see how it pans out. But more specifically, the Medusa pick. Are you a fan of this one, Gods?
First thought is what the panel said, you know, versus OD. Doesn't sound great. Obviously, their idea is they've got heroes to play around it that they feel can help enable it and deal with the OD problem. If Medusa gets farmed enough, you can kind of make up for the OD factor. So we'll see how it works. I think the other bigger problem is some of the frontliners for the Medusa is the Tiny, who's just going to be kind of an int sponge for that OD as well. So you can just take it there, take it for Medusa. We're going to see some big Sandy's Eclipse. This is, you know, Iceberg had a bit of a rough game last game. This is the game where he should go off.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a hero where you're not really going to see sort of a gimmicky build like with his SF, where he does like to go for the Spellcaster. You're going to see something a little more standard and robust on the OD.
Then he builds the Acceptor.
Well, let's not go that far. But it's going to be interesting because, I mean, this is the thing. Iceberg, other than sort of the mistakes that he's made after he gets these leads, he always does get these leads. He does have a very good sort of mechanical cool performance each game. And and obviously we have seen early in the series he has been able to pull it through sometimes, but certainly can be a bit of a volatile player. But on the OD compared to the SF, I think if you're his teammate, you're feeling a little safer being in the hands of Iceberg.
Absolutely, and you've got these great saving tools with Snowball as well as the Astral having these double saves. And Silent is just, you know, silently a rock-solid carry player game after game. I feel like all of the games we've seen FlyToMoon play today, he hasn't had any bad showings. He was the MVP on that Void game at the start. He didn't die in either of their 2 wins. Both of those games on the carry role, he was deathless. And even that last game was tiny. Like he did all he could. It was much more really Iceberg who made a few mistakes that were costly. So I think he will, as always, just be rock solid.
Well, we'll find out, ladies and gentlemen, if FlyToMoon can draw this series to that game 3, as VGJ.Thunder did, of course, take the win in game 1. So do ignore the scoreboard at the top. It is just a test, as it is incorrect. Game 1 going to VGJ.Thunder, not to FlyToMoon.
Yep. And nothing crazy with the lanes, it looks like. Both VGJ supports kind of starting near the top lane, but it seems DDC's headed back bottom. Likely just see the typical dual lanes here that teams have been favoring a lot. It was really mainly some of the Chinese teams that were still favoring these kind of defensive tri-lanes to do the 3v2 lane where you try and win that lane, but I think they started realizing they lose the other 2 lanes, so definitely been an adjustment where Fade has been spending a lot more time securing Yang's lane in these games. Which way the runes go? So it's going to be 2 apiece, but not the split you normally see where one team gets both on one side. It's going to be neither team getting aggressive early on.
Yeah, we normally see a smoke play at least coming out from FlyToMoon in most of their games, but as you say, this time around, a bit more of a slow and steady opening to the game.
Oh, Yang has an Orb of Venom. He's really looking to bully this top lane. Puck plus Willow. Not a fun lane when you consider what Willow brings to the table, and that's going to be very bothersome for Silence Gyrocopter. Mid lane was blocked all the way into the tower, which one of those weird things which isn't always good if you can't get those last hits under tower, then the lane pushes back heavily the other way. Now Syla's going to have the last hit under the tower. We'll see how this pans out, but I imagine the next waves will meet somewhere near Syla's side as well. Not getting the range creep there with the Mystic Snake. So first Mystic Snake, not really successful, except a bit of harass.
Top lane, a bit of harassment here onto Fade. Homing Missile will connect as well as the Paralyzing Cast, but he's got the Shadow Realm.
Still hits Silent with that from far. Nicely done. Trading blows here. This is where it's really key that you have a lot of regen, which the Puck and Willow have a salve apiece, but didn't have a lot of Tangos to play around with. Silent having the 6 Tangos that he went to lane with, so his regen is a little bit limited. He's going to have a Magic Wand soon, which is so important to get your wands early. Ooh.
Did you get the root onto
the Bramble?
Always want to fly. Yeah. I'm trying to finish off. Switch Doctor, they got the Shadow Realm. Can you get it out in time?
You get vision.
You can't.
Could have gone for the Shadow Realm hit earlier, I believe, unless it was on cooldown. I didn't see that. So.
It was stunned by the missile. Or the cast,
yeah,
at least.
If he could get it before the missile hit.
Sure.
Like, he did it to kind of dodge the missile. Like, it still hits, but to dodge take any damage if he just uses it as early as possible. But as I said, maybe on cooldown. Don't actually know.
So they're trying to get an aggressive. There'll be a homing missile heading the way of Yang.
He knows Puck has no phase shift, so it's actually worth throwing that in. Yang getting very low. Oh boy, that Tango should save his life.
And he's got that sail prepared as well, if he wants to pop that to stay in lane after the Maledict.
Very smart from Silent. Normally you just never throw a homing missile at a Puck because it's the easiest phase shift dodge of your life, but seeing that he used the Waning Rift, he knew that there was no points in it.
Yeah, looking at the mid lane matchup, seeming to be a slight edge for Iceberg, but all in all, pretty close between him and Sylar.
Yep. See how things go. His second null has not come out on the Kree, got just the little components for it. And it will be kind of a matchup where we'll really just see the mechanical skill of these mid laners determine the kind of the CS advantages. OD not going for the Astro build, going for the Arcane Orb. He really wants to harass Sylar as much as possible. Try burn away at that mana pool of his so he can't use Mystic Snake as much. But we'll see OD quickly run out of mana as a result. Because he's not only chewing through mana to use Arcane Orb, but he's also getting hit by the Mystic Snake.
Well, looking at the side lanes, it seems that both carries, Silent and Freeze, are finding decent, but Silent, I guess, a little bit behind the pressure of this duo lane.
Yep.
The Dark Willow and Puck proving to be just that little bit more effective.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see Willow just continue to stay at this top lane. Puck, I'm about to say, he needs some items. What's he got? He's got a bunch of stuff coming in the courier. It looks like wands, now talismans. Bunch of little items to just help give him the whatever edge he can get, because this Naked Orb of Venom is not a good look for an offlane puck. Bottom lane, they've gone in.
Yeah, they've got the Hex. Onto the Doom. Non-Grata pops the stick charge. He had the Scorched Earth regen as well. And it looks like it will be enough to get himself out of there. Not quite enough damage between DDC and Freeze to burst through this non-Grata offlane Doom.
Too crazy there. OD bullied out of the mid lane, going all the way back to Foundry
This should be your first blood fade.
Yep.
Quick with the Shadow Realm here.
Good play, knowing that he's going to go for those bounty runes and punishing the fact that Witch Doctor does not have good vision around that top lane particularly. So getting a double bounty rune out of it and Fade off to a great start. He's got first blood, couple bounty runes.
Silent is pretty low here, but Fade, he's just going to get gone on straight away. They move in on him, as he did not expect, I believe, the full tri-lane to be there. Same time towards mid, Sylar, with the help of DDC, looking towards Iceberg. They have the Hex. Is it enough? They're trying to chase, but it looks like Iceberg will just be able to get himself out.
Yeah. Without the boots online, he can't really chase for another Impale. Maybe if he kept chasing Fade, could have hit him with a Shadow Realm, but Iceberg does get back to safety for now. Fade's TP was looking for that OD kill. I think he would maybe rather stay in that top lane for a bit longer, but not the end of the world for him. He's actually going to find Iceberg at the Shrine, trying to... Okay, he won't get the kill before the Shrine comes up. Fade does get the info for his team at least.
Sylar gets a bit of space mid, though, off the back of this. DDC is going to be chased down by No Fear and Always Want to Fly.
He's donezo.
They got a few punching into him. DDC has
Can he
stick
find a deny?
charges. He's not going to get the chance to do so. Shards are there from No Fear. FlyToMoon get the second kill for themselves.
But CS-wise, you can see the big VGJ.Thunder advantage in this laning stage. They are well and truly winning all three lanes. Not by a massive margin by any means, but by a decent amount. And Willow with Lion getting active now. They're smoking up, looking to go back up this top lane.
So they can do it. They've got the cast bounces perfectly along with the Maledicts. Yang trying to run himself away. He has got a phase shift and he has got TPs coming in to save. No Fear will fall. Yang should still tick out here to the Maledict, and indeed he does.
Yep. Popped the phase shift a bit early. He ideally should have timed it such that he blocks a major Maledict proc, not the little tick damage. So slight misplay there. May have still gone down anyways, but may as well at least try and survive through the damage. But either way, nice little turnaround to get something at the top lane. But ideally, if they get there faster, they can actually keep Yang alive.
Freeze continuing to have pretty uninterrupted farm down on this bottom lane.
And that's the beauty of having this strong early game lane stage where you win these three lanes, is that you can, if you've got a hero like Tiny, you can just leave him alone. He doesn't need help, which allows the supports to be active. They get to go for that smoke gang. They get to go for plays elsewhere on the map and start causing problems for the rest of the FlyToMoon heroes.
Backup being offered here for Iceberg as both supports sit behind him.
Yeah. He's in a much better spot now. He just didn't have mana in the first kind of 3 to 4 minutes, which meant that Sylar had a big edge, but now that he's made some fountain trips, refilled his mana pool, Medusa can't really go up and fight him. He doesn't want to trade right clicks with an Iceberg OD that has Arcane Orb. Bottom lane, the smoke is coming, and Tiny maybe too far out.
See what they can do it. They've got the cast to set it up into the Maledict. Got a fair bit of burst. Is it going to be enough, though? Because TPs are coming in from VGJ.Thunder. They're looking to turn this around. Got the Brambles controlling up one with the Hex as well. Onto No Fear. Will still be able to walk himself away. But they do manage to protect Freeze with those TP rotations. Same time, top lane Silent. Actually getting right click down here by Yang as he commits with the Dream Coil. Can Yang finish off this kill?
As an orb, but he doesn't want to risk going for it and then dying, as the Salvin Gyrocopter is going to keep him alive. Nice try from Yang. Homing missile hitting him though stopped any kind of true kill potential there. As for bottom lane, Freeze had a Shrine, so he fell back, and he's not going to have to go completely back to base and kind of stay around. Actually looking for a kill here.
And they're trying on the mid lane. Looking towards Sylar. Sylar does get rolled in upon. They know that TPs were used down towards bottom, but Yang still has his TP available. Looking to turn things around, goes in onto No Fear at the same time down bottom. VGJ.Thunder. They find Non-Grata there with a combo of Freeze. And at the same time mid, Sylar able to get the kill onto No Fear, thanks to the rotation from Yang.
Having these kind of staple stats with a Medusa in your team always feels really good. Often the weakness is very much your laning stage. A Medusa here that just wants to sit, farm, doesn't really rotate, doesn't really offer much ultra on the map, and the fact that they've been able to get farm on all 3 cores while having this Medusa is a great sign for VGJ.Thunder. We'll have to see whether or not Iceberg's OD has the counters in play to actually beat out a Medusa in the late game.
Always want to fly. Does find Yang, but Yang should be more than fine. And he's got the orb available if needs be and can just walk it off. Mid lane, the pressure continuing up towards that tier 1 tower. They've managed to bring down to half of its health at the moment, VGJ.Thunder. DDC down bottom, just looking to soak up some experience. Level 5 on his Lion.
Yep. Getting a fast level 6 perhaps on him is a great way to set up a kill really anywhere on the map. See if Fade probably taking that to him. He's taking over the mid lane. He's only level 4.5, so perhaps they really want to get that level 6 Willow, giving them a lot more burst damage and kill potential. Definitely not the great start for Silence Gyrocopter, and just Silence carry in general. In most of the games he's been playing, I feel like he's having these very free lanes. It's the first time he's been well and truly pressured. Most teams have kind of prioritized more Iceberg in some ways, or at least had a more static early game, but this dual lane caused Silent a lot of problems.
Let's see what any supports of both sides are going to be able to find here as VGJ.Thunder. Again, just trying to find the levels on them at the moment as Fade has been given the middle lane.
Yep. If they get a slow game, they'll take it. They want level 6 on supports, and more importantly, they want Freeze's initiation item, whether it's a Blink or a Shadow Blade. That's kind of go time for them. That's when they can smoke up, start making plays, start getting some kills. If they're allowed to just play a slow-paced farming game here in the early game laning stage, they'll just take it. They're under no pressure to make any moves. It's FlyToMoon who are smoked up. They know and they understand they have to go for these plays.
Yang, he wants to try and find this arcane win, but there's a bit of a surprise waiting there for him. As FlyToMoon immediately move in. They had the homing missile still coming forward from the Silent up top, and it's an easy kill for them to find.
Held onto the Doom as well, which is definitely the right call, and making sure they don't overcommit on a puck. Save it for potential play here, and definitely a big weakness of FlyToMoon's draft. They don't push all that well, which is where you'd love to find picks into tier 1 towers here. They should be able to get this tier 1 tower even though they don't have the best pushing lineup, but the response from Thunder should very much be, let's take this bottom tier 1. They've got a siege creep down there, at least do some damage to it. Same in mid lane. Do what damage you can to some towers on the dire side if you can't defend the top lane. And even top lane, the puck can at least delay this push.
We'll throw down the route, VGJ.Thunder. They can kick anything off here. They've got the Hex onto the Doom. Yang, DDC and Fade trying to find the killers. They find the stun onto 2. Dreamcock gets popped down. The Silent's going to move in and try for the counterplay. He's got the cooldown. He's looking towards Fade. The paralyzing cast bounces back and they'll bring down Fade. Freeze. Can he get the control onto Silent? He has the Maledict on him. It doesn't look like he can quite close this gap, so Silent will be able to get back out as quickly as he got involved there.
Just able to stop that Terrorize coming out on the Willow, which maybe would have offered some additional lockdown. Puck doing a lot of damage there with all of his nukes, even the Willow Bedlam coming into play as well. But FlyToMoon going to go around right back at Thunder. They do not want to give them space to keep on farming. They're not running at the Medusa, but they'll take what kills they can get at this point.
Now they'll find DDC at the side. He'll turn with a quick stun and a Hex, trying to get himself up to the high ground, but Iceberg's there with a right click. Beats down upon the Lion.
Can they find Yang here?
They're hunting. He's got the orb. How's he going to play this one out? He goes for the bait play. Won't jump towards the orb, but indeed with the entire team at FlyToMoon here, there is no escape for the puck, as they will manage to get that TP rotation and the kill.
Silent takes tier 1.
He does. He's continuing to stay at top of the net worth this game on his Medusa.
That's like killing a puck again. It's the offlaner. It's now his 3rd death. Doesn't feel good when you see that Medusa taking a mid tier 1 tower. That's where you're like, oh, are we really winning the right lane at this point? Getting Silent fairly big and recovered from his rough early start is nice. Getting a tier 1 tower, nice and all. But Medusa is a massive problem.
I'm going to try for Freeze here. Rolling straight in. They'll drop down the Doom. FlyToMoon making moves as a unit. We'll find Freeze.
Yep. They've got to keep getting these kills. Definitely a game where they're the ones under pressure to keep making moves and playing aggressive. Already the Mask of Madness, level 11 on Sylar. He's almost finished a Dragonlance on top of this.
Trying to chase down DDC, but DDC a little too far where they have the drums for non-grata. So Easier for him now to get in and find that Doom targeted.
So I might see FlyToMoon give up on the top side of the map and play towards bottom. Definitely want to play around the gyrocopter. He's the strongest hero on the map right now. With his drums coming out, level 10. He's the guy you want to gravitate towards if you're a support or the Doom in this case. No DDC's under here, and he may be a freebie kill.
He wants to try and stay hidden, but indeed no fears in. They know that there's a lion here, deep in the jungle. And as they move in, he certainly will sleep tonight. DDC taken out on his own.
Will sleep tonight. As VGJ leaving that tower to fall, I think this is the right call. Lion, I think, should never have been there, but once you're there, it's kind of like, well, I'm kind of trapped, don't want to leave. And ultimately, his death is not a major influencing factor on this game. The info for the VGJ is given, and they're going to look to farm more of the top side of the map. Ideally pressuring this top tier 1, but you want to make sure you don't get caught doing so, and that's something where if you're in FlyToMoon shape position, you want to be taking towers while defending towers. They're not ahead, but they have the stronger lineup right now, and when you've got this good early game draft, you don't want to be giving anything up for free.
Yeah, Silent really starting to get the momentum underneath his wings to have that impact on his gyro that we have seen historically. You know, in the past, the Silent gyrocopter has really been quite a hero to be afraid of.
Do give up top tower. VGJ were actually scared to go for it. It took them quite some time of hiding around there before they finally decided to commit and take the tier 1. Tiny getting very close to his Shadow Blade thanks to the last hit on it.
Oh, DDC. They've found him. In fact, they're going to be able to get the snowball focused straight down on towards the bigger target. They'll look towards DDC, but the backup's actually going to be there from Yang. Jumps in, bursts down the Witch Doctor. It's a 1-for-1 so far. Sylar trying to move forward. The Green Coil holding down on Crowder for now. Iceberg will buy some time for Doom with the defensive Astral. He pops the Sanity's Eclipse. Silence actually coming with a wraparound. Can't quite find Freeze as Freeze is there with the toss back. It's 2 for 2 at the moment. Freeze gets chased down. The flak from Silent will pick up a second. Double kill for the gyrocopter. He wants Fade as well. They're falling pretty low, though, between these towers, though, as non-Crowder. They'll try and heal him up. It won't be enough. They'll lose him.
No fear. It's phase boots on Sylar in a second.
Sylar should be able to find this one as well, as they do find the return kills, VGJ.Thunder, after FlyToMoon dive just a little bit too aggressively there between the two towers.
Yeah, it's a bit too deep. They do manage to get the Tiny kill, although I think even Tiny could have lived there. Needs to start watching some more CIS replays, particularly Chappie. Use that Shadow Amulet, bro. You could have lived.
Oh, he had it, didn't he?
You got to invis yourself away.
Oh.
He's not been watching any Chappie replays.
No, Chappie is sat at home shaking his head.
And FlyToMoon give away a little bit there. A little bit to Medusa means a lot when Sylar is still 0 deaths, 3-0 and 3, continue to farm well on top of the net worth. Mask of Madness just accelerating his item progression. Level 15, he is so far ahead of the pack. Level 12, the highest on the Dire side. Big concerns for FlyToMoon as far as dealing with this Medusa.
This 3k lead that VGJ.Thunder have definitely feeling sort of amplified by the sort of core matchups, as you say. The fact that FlyToMoon aren't quite ahead, aren't quite where they want to be when they're trying to run this gyrocopter lineup against the Medusa at this stage of the game.
See what the next step's going to be for FlyToMoon there. Again, the ones under pressure, they've got to smoke on Witch Doctor. I think they just need to keep going towards the gyrocopter and playing around team. It's just the support smoking up, which isn't really the strongest unit, but Doom with his ulti on cooldown is saying, I'm going to show and farm. Perhaps Medusa will think she's safe, but that is not the case. Medusa is out of there, TPing out of a very dangerous position in the top lane. If she gets found, level 4 Maledict does offer some ways of bringing her down. Some decent damage output is there. Medusa not a hero that's ever going to really build a BKB to deal with Maledict.
She has the Hurricane Pike now as well, so that extra bit of sort of save potential she has to get in and out of fights.
Very problematic position with Medusa's farm right now. They're going to see Doom and
DDC, he's got the opening, they've got the controls, and they have the damage with the Veil and the Finger they have.
That's a fairly tanky Doom with drums and hood, but they had the numbers, they had the tools, and they're going to follow this up with Sylar coming in. Feels like he's online now, level 16, Hurricane Pike. This is that like follow-up item to Mask of Madness where you can actually kind of 5-man with your team a bit. You be the frontliner. Doom's never going to be able to run in and Doom and Medusa. Or at least you don't want to. It's not an ideal Doom target. And VGJ starting to play more around their Medusa, feeling like she is strong enough to join the party.
I'll see what they can find here towards the mid-freeze. With the Shadow Blade, but no fair. As the Dust, they've got the eyes onto him. They'll move in with Iceberg, trying to find the kill. Terrorize is going to be sort of off the mark because it won't send back the side of FlyToMoon as they could hold their ground, finish off the kill.
Nicely done. You want this OD to keep getting these kills and getting bigger and bigger. The Iceberg is the hero and player that needs to be the answer to this Medusa.
See if they can get in on this fight, VGJ.Thunder. Yang from the high ground, he's thinking about it. Scout through the trees there with the orb. They would be fighting without the Tiny.
Back in 15, they really want to keep this tier 1 mid tower alive. It's such a big amount of map control you get if you can take a tier 1 mid. Opens up complete access into both jungles. They can access them kind of from the side lanes, but the mid lane would be a fantastic little boost, which they're not going to get. Things will settle down as Tiny comes back into play. Could see another smoke, but there are some great deep wards from the Dire team, which is scanning a lot of this out. This is a play I really like. You ward on top of a sentry because the sentries don't give vision anymore, except for the first like 10 seconds when they're planted. Oh, they're going to scout it though. Like warding on top of sentries can often go undetected because you put the sentry there. Oh, you're like, oh, there's no ward, or you de-ward, and then you just instantly re-ward the same spot. So we'll see that ward taken care of, and now FlyToMoon well and truly in the dark.
Does make a bit of an attempt onto Silent, and they've got it. He closes the gap with the Shadow Blade. Jang's there as well for that extra bit of control with the Dream Coil, and they find Sylar out alone, pushing that bottom lane very far out.
And he is rushing the Acceptor on Puck. I love this type of choice.
On DDC, getting gone upon here, trying to get himself out, but Iceberg's there to offer up the damage.
Having this Acceptor as your kind of first major item post-blink is going to heavily negate this BKB Gyro. Fortunately for Gyro, also died right before he got his BKB, or could have just, you know, escaped with the BKB TP. OD's a very likely BKB candidate. He has it queued up with a Blink Dagger in his quick buy. It's a game where you definitely want to have BKB against Puck, Lion, and Dark Willow.
Sylar still maintaining that superior lead this game.
Yeah, no real signs of Medusa being caught by either OD or Gyro. OD not the flash farmer. Gyro just hasn't really had stacks, hasn't gone for a farming build. It's the same BKB build we saw last game.
Mid lane. Maybe seeing if something will kick off here, FlyToMooners.
Yeah, I think Freeze wants a toss back, perhaps.
Oh, he's looking for it. Jumps in, finds the Avalanche. Can't quite get the
creep.
toss, though. The quick Hurricane Pike allowing Iceberg to keep the distance, and they turn it around. With the Death Ward down, they take down Freeze.
That melee creep was a hero. And it was a Radiant creep, but it worked against him. If that creep's not there, he can just instantly toss Iceberg, but the creep is closer to his hero than the OD, so he really needed to wait for OD to get that last right click on the creep. I think he just slightly mistimes it.
They do actually get the shards here onto Sylar. Thinking about going in, but the Hurricane Pike will take Sylar deep behind the tier 1 tower to safety. On the side, though, they'll try and make a move in, but the Terrorize is there.
Still got the kill.
They do indeed. They managed to burst down DDC. Can they get more? They've got the Doom for Non-Grata. Turning around, Sylar punching into these. He's trying to help his team out with the Stone Gaze. He's actually going to get a fair few of them here into the tower. Sylar doing a lot of damage here as he punches back, but the Sanity's Eclipse comes through. They'll survive through it all, and FlyToMoon come out on top. They've found 4. They're looking towards Fade. They should be able to clean up the Dark Willow as well, as No Fear blocks him off. Looks to punch him down. He is going to go for the Shadow Realm TP out. He's just going to be able to make it. But overall, FlyToMoon having a successful fight there.
Yeah, wow. Tiny going down at the start, really being punished there. The fact they can just keep pressing forward. Tusk making a very aggressive play to just dive on the Lion, knowing that, hey, look, at that point, it's a 5v3 fight. You kill that Lion. Yes, Medusa's a massive problem, and you can't really deal with her all too well when she's got Stone Gaze up, as we saw. Medusa almost like 1v5s them. Took down like 2 heroes and brought another couple low. But eventually she does die because of all the OD ints being stacked up and the Sanity's Eclipse being dropped. So really nice team fight from FlyToMoon. You can tell they do have ways of killing Medusa, but it does rely on getting good initiations, turning these fights very quickly into like a 5v4 or a 5v3. Because if Tiny's alive, there's no way you dive under that tower and take that fight.
No, absolutely not. FlyToMoon certainly showing us they still have the punch required to get through these fights, and as we're seeing the sort of the strengths of the OD against the Medusa, being able to really cause issues for the mana pool.
Yep.
And make that big old Medusa just that little bit more squishy.
We'll be having the level 20 Medusa 700 mana talent coming into play very soon. That probably would have been enough in that scenario to actually save Medusa's life. Interesting. We'll see the Lincolns first. First after the Pike and the Mask of Madness on Medusa. Not sure she's really the Doom target. I think this is just going to help a little bit all across the board in terms of more stats, more regen. Maybe blocks a homing missile. Whatever it can do could be useful. If it is a Doom, obviously great, but I don't think we'll see Doom making that mistake. He'd much rather Doom heroes like the Puck. Even the Willow we saw in that fight. Willow just did, I mean, Willow was only cleaned up really, did the most damage in that team fight.
So we do have just a slight pause here, so apologies ladies and gentlemen, hopefully we can get things back on. Looks like they're just sorting out a quick technical issue with FlyToMoon.
I think VGJ got to still feel okay about to see this game. That fight slightly goes against them, but they're going to kind of just settle down and be like, what happened there? Tiny made a mistake on his initiation. We then took a 4v5 fight. Let's, you know, make better initiations and take 5v5 fights. It's very easy corrections to kind of look at as far as what's happened over the last few minutes here. So Freeze, fantastic last game, the MVP on his gyrocopter. You know, sometimes those mistakes happen, and VGJ.Thunder is just recognizing that they need to play as a full 5-man unit.
Oh, absolutely. It's certainly proving to be a close one. But as the panel said, if it does end up going that 50-60 minutes, there is going to be that strength indeed for the Dusa lineup, as you're touching upon.
Yep. I think Gyro is always a hero that's going to lack that major damage to fight a Medusa until you're talking like Rapier territory.
Yeah.
Which always feels very far away. You go this phase, drums, BKB, and then you go another stat item like SMY. Then you get maybe a butterfly, which is kind of like a stat item as well. It's not like a real true damage item. So it takes a long time before Gyrocopter becomes a big damage dealer, and it always feels like Medusa is one step ahead of a Gyrocopter in terms of survivability. And that's where it's very much the OD who has to be the Medusa counter. And you can always likely see that Mask of Madness disassembled, get the butterfly, then you've got evasion against OD, a hero that does not deal well with evasion. Doesn't build MKB, Bloodthorn's very expensive and not really an item you want to get either. Can also be very easily countered. So this game will probably slow down a little bit as VGJ complete the Ag Scepter on Puck and look to make their next move around Tiny as their initiator.
Silent after the BKB, going for his SMY, has the Asher done.
Yep.
So as you say, likely the both teams are going to wait sort of for the next sort of bigger item. And there's the first sort of, well, two big items coming out for VGJ.Thunder, both the Blink Dagger on the Willow and the Aghanims on the Puck. Oh yeah.
Puck plus Willow, Coil, Terrorize, fantastic synergy between these two. You can BKB inside the Coil and then just hold your ground so you're not really in danger of that combo destroying you, but at the same time you're forced to hold your position and probably get right-clicked down by like the Medusa at that point. So very much a tough spot for FlyToMoon in these team fights. They're going to have to execute very well and punish any missed positions from VGJ.Thunder, as we saw in the last fight though, so definitely not a hopeless situation for them.
And that is the plus 700 mana for the Medusa now, Psylocke. So that extra bit of tankiness that we did see him sort of lack in the last fight against Iceberg's Outward Devourer. Jump in onto Psylocke to quickly burst him, but the Terrorize is going to be there. Holding back the two of them, giving the chance for Psylocke to pop the Stone Gaze and now turn and fight back. And that essentially is FlyToMoon handling two easy kills there. They felt that they could get away with jumping onto Psylocke.
In trouble.
Oh, they see him! They've got him. Dreamcoil gets locked down. I mean, DDC, he will get Sanity's Eclipse, but it's all going to be worth it for VGJ.Thunder as they do get Iceberg. That whole series of events there, a bit of a mistake for FlyToMoon. They jump onto Sylar. I mean, even if there wasn't backup, it was always going to be a hard kill for them to get with those heroes.
Yep.
And they end up losing 3 themselves.
Just don't think you can go on this Medusa at this stage of the game, or really any stage of the game, unless she's entirely alone. Even if you get the Doom on her and stop a Stone Gaze coming out, she still has a ton of survivability now with that level 20 talent. And to get a Doom off on her is very, very difficult. We don't see Doom with any kind of neutral creep that can break the Lincolns, entirely relying on the teammates for now. Things looking very challenging as far as fighting against Medusa goes.
Another tower is taken by VGJ.Thunder. Continue to have that sort of superior map control. As in the jungle, if they're looking towards this Dark Willow, they have got the Terrorize and Fade. It's going to go for the Terrorize and TP out. Doesn't want to mess around with Silent.
Make sure he doesn't get punched by the Tusky. And FlyToMoon is going to be thinking, what's our next move? OD's BKB about to be completed. That's kind of what he was trying to get up top before they changed their mind and said, oh, let's not farm, let's go for this Medusa kill. They've got to complete this and then try and take a team fight with the double BKBs, try and take an objective, force the fight around Roche. Like, they could go in the Roshan pit hoping to bring Thunder to them. But even that relies on maybe smoking in, getting some good wards up, because there's still that Ag Stream Core which can bypass the BKBs.
Yeah, this will sort of give Iceberg the chance to really rack up the punching into Sylar. And it does start to have to be worried about the sort of the punches that Sylar is going to be able to offer back towards him with the right clicks. VGJ.Thunder move across with the smoke. Who's going to get the jump on who? There will let's commit straight away with the Dream Coil bursting down this Gyro. That is going to be Silent, taken immediately out of the fight. The finger from DDC bursting on Grada. Always want to fly will fall as well as VGJ.Thunder just get the instant sweep into the jungle and find that big pick off to start the fight, getting on top of Silent.
And that's why FlyToMoon need to be the aggressors. Like, the second they get these double BKBs, they need to be grouping up, smoking, using their vision to start a fight themselves, because these BKBs are useless if they're getting jumped. You've got Tiny with an insta-blink stun, you've got Lion, Hex, Impale. If you can't get those BKBs off, they do nothing for you. And FlyToMoon being split up with double BKBs, continue to farm. Their item progression is not going to match Medusa's. They've got to be the ones playing aggressive, taking some chances, and they just allow VGJ to get on top of them there.
That's 10k lead.
Okay, didn't get no fear. Walked into him, but didn't go the Hex off.
Yeah, I'm sweeping over. They are going to see if they can maybe chase down these heroes, or at least protect Sylar around the pit. He moves in on the Deucer with the...
Oh, double damage, of course.
Yeah, to help him out. And
classic Roche.
FlyToMoon pushed back to base. Pretty much impossible for them to get out in time to do anything about this attempt. This should be an easy Aegis for VGJ.Thunder.
Yeah, not enough vision for the Dire team in the Radiant side. Well, they see Heroes bottom. They have plenty of vision, even if it's being de-warded. It allows them to get an Aegis in the hands of Sylar's Medusa. The clock is ticking for FlyToMoon. They feel like they're on a timer already, and now they're up against a lineup with an Aegis Medusa. There's nothing they can really do. They're just watching that clock tick down and feel probably a bit powerless to actually make a move and make a play out on the map.
Yeah, we'll see what the next sort of play is. Unless they do really want to try and put it in the basket of just farming up the Gyro and the OD and trying to take this even later, but it really does feel that is a bit of a risky play to make.
That's the current game plan, it seems. I mean, at some point, Medusa's going to kind of cap out, and Gyro can, you know, if he gets 2 more big... I don't even know if it's 2, it might be 3. He's got an MKB queued up. I feel like he needs a Satanic, a Rapier, maybe even a Butterfly. There's a lot of items.
Ooh, Sylar. Just get found out here. They'll jump in straight away, looking towards him. The Snowball's going to be there to dodge out the Terrorize. They focus towards Sylar, but Sylar pops the Stone Gaze out. They have got the stun and the finger straight away. They've bursted down Iceberg on the OD. Silent moves forward with the BKB, trying to find at least Fade on this Dark Willow, but Fade's able to keep the distance. Silent turns with the cooldown, but they're getting split up here, FlyToMoon. They can't get the fight going the way they want to. And with Freeze jumping forward with the control, setting up for DDC to follow up with a stun, they'll lose both of their cores, FlyToMoon. The rest of the team having to run away, get out of here. As Sylar and Yang, they're going to continue to chase. They're looking towards at least getting Always Want to Fly as well, and they will. They'll find a third. These fights just looking to be impossible for FlyToMoon, as each and every time, whether it be Iceberg or in that case Iceberg, and in the previous case Silent, they just lose one of their big cores straight off the bat.
feels like, yeah, things are slipping away quicker and quicker as Sylar gets more and more farmed. The Aegis giving him that extra life, which just allows VGJ to take any fight. That worst hero to really run into. Like, yeah, Medusa's the big carry, but you run into her with 5 heroes when she has an Aegis, you're not killing her. And that aggressive attempt from FlyToMoon just feels like it came too late. That's what they needed to do 4 or 5 minutes ago when those BKBs came online. They found these BKBs, they've just slowed the game down. It's kind of like what VGJ last game, you know, they found BKB and then just kept on farming, but that's because they had late game. FlyToMoon do not have the late game here against Medusa.
Tier 3, they've actually jumped in. They managed to get the lockdown straight away onto Iceberg. They get the toss stream call combo. That's going to be Iceberg dead as well as No Fear. They look to move on for more. Always want to fly, trying with the death ball, but DDC's in with the stun. Sylar takes the kill. The Stone Gaze as well, stopping up Silent. That's going to be Silent down for 70 seconds. Iceberg is trying to move in with the BKB. He'll bring down DDC, but Freeze, Yang, and Sylar standing strong in the base. Look towards the Doom. They bring down Non-Crowder. That's 3 dead on FlyToMoon. 2 buybacks will come out. But Freeze and Sylar just proving to be invincible as they'll hold their ground, clean up the mid lane of Rax.
Sylar's not done. He's like, I'll just go for this next lane as well.
They can't kill this juicer.
Yeah, they can't go nearer. The split shot will just start wrecking them as well. It gets the tier 3 tower, respecting some of these respawn times, even though they're just supports. A Maledict, Night Shot block. Suddenly there's 4 heroes you're going to deal with as a Medusa. Might be a bit too much, so takes the tower, gets out. And a very convincing high ground siege from VGJ off of the Aegis on Medusa.
He's got a full out butterfly as well, Sylar now. 7-1 and 15, and I think, you know, sort of looking at the start of this game, there was always going to be that wonder if, you know, maybe VGJ.Thunder, they can push it late, they can get to this point where the Medusa is absolutely massive. But sort of the speed that they've been able to do it as has been quite fantastic. You know, 32 minutes in to have Sylar at this stage, he's pretty much level 25 on this Medusa. This is an incredibly impressive carry performance.
Yeah, last game it was Freeze, this game it's Sylar. VGJ showing that, you know, different players can do it in different games as needed. Sylar Medusa not disappointing, and for FlyToMoon, the question very much is what can they do? Having lost that fight in the mid-racks, things looking very desperate for them. Not all entirely lost, considering it's just 1 lane, but very close to that point.
Freeze, there's looking towards Non-Crowder, but Non-Crowder will turn, drop the Doom down onto the Tiny. Backups there for FlyToMoon as Iceberg moves in with the BKB. They've taken down DDC. Can they get anything more there? That's the question. They've committed the BKB charge on Iceberg. Freeze is going to get rolled upon, but he pops the BKB himself, turns towards No Fear, throws Yang in. They'll look to burst down the Tusk, and they should find him, and they do. No Fear will fall. Sylar's just walking in with the Stone Gaze. He's picked up Always Want to Fly. Non-Crowder stuck in the trees. He's going to fall as well for sure as he gets jumped upon by Yang. Bursted down. FlyToMoon lose 3. Silent and Iceberg having to run themselves back to base. But again, impossible fights. Iceberg actually getting shoved into the center of them all. Will South Astral, he has no way of getting out of this though as they bring him down. He's dead for pretty much 2 minutes on his OD. As VGJ.Thunder enter into the base again on the bottom lane, feeling very confident now with themselves this game. They've got the stun, the control. They've found Silent as well. FlyToMoon just unable to do anything with their cause at this stage of the game.
Yeah, not enough pressure onto VGJ.Thunder. That should be it with the cause dead, without buyback. They're going to go for the tier 4 towers in the throne. No way to defend this with 2 supports, and GG is called. Great Medusa showing from Sylar and great team play around the Medusa. VGJ had a game plan, they stuck to it, they created all the space in the world that they needed to, and Sylar took full advantage of it.
VGJ.Thunder looking at sort of a little rocky the other day, but it really feels like they're bringing everything together now. They're sort of showing us the performances that we've kind of come to expect from VGJ.Thunder at sort of previous lands. We know that this is a group of incredibly talented Chinese players, and you know, some massive names and ranks among them, and we're seeing it with these sort of performances. Yeah, Sylar giving us some top tier carry performances today. This Medusa is playing out of his mind. And with this, they get the 2-0 against FlyToMoon. FlyToMoon themselves, definitely a team of a lot of very individually talented players, but as expected, it's going to take just a little bit more time to sort of have the team playing cohesion that a lineup like VGJ.Thunder has.
Yes, playing at their first big LAN as a new team, a DPC event, Very close to getting in the top 4 at the Starlighter Minor, but just falling short here to VGJ. They took a game off them in the first series. They won their series earlier today, so something to learn from and definitely to look at and say, you know, we played pretty well as a team. We can continue going forward and look to keep playing these CIS qualifiers and looking to improve, but for now, it is VGJ. Top 4, they need the DPC points. You know, they're kind of on the cusp of that top 8. They want to get all the DPC points they can get, and being in the playoffs, that's the place to be. Absolutely.
But so we'll see, obviously, VGJ.Thunder move forward towards tomorrow. I believe that is them done for today. As you say, FlyToMoon getting the 2 series in, a 1 victory, and, of course, this loss as well will mean it's the end of the road for them here at this LAN. VGJ.Thunder to move forward as they take this series 2-0. Back to the panel.
Indeed, FlyToMoon eliminated and VGJ.Thunder move forward to the semifinals of the, well, I was going to say main event, but this is the main event already. But of the final day. There you go. That's the one I was looking for here with Nahaz and Lacoste. And again, Lacoste, it took a while for them to get going, took a while for both teams to get going. But VGJ.Thunder looked a lot better than the first game.
Yeah, definitely. The laning setup was really strong from them. They put Puck and the other Puck, Dark Willow, the stronger one, together, which pretty much destroyed the lane. Yeah. And after that, they kind of were struggling because none of these teams had any specific tower damage. Like you can put Medusa just a right click, but she needs to come to a certain point when she feels unkillable, get that Aegis, and after that just try to close the game. There was no good Doom target in this game. Yeah. Like Puck is already in, he uses his combo. Tiny already did the same. You don't want to go on Medusa.
Yeah, I think it boiled down to the fact that so first off, your point about the Doom target, I mentioned in the draft that Doom punishes these single core lineups. Yes. Medusa really an exception to that rule, right? You don't want to Doom her during the fights, because as long as she has her Mana Shield on, she just doesn't care. And the other thing was, I feel like in this game that if Sylar isn't so big so early, FlyToMoon is okay, because as long as they get their BKBs online to fight the Lion and the Willow, they can really make some hay on the opponent's side of the map. But by that point, Sylar is just so massively big that he presses that Stone Gaze, he's doing enough damage that you can't hold your position, even with your BKB active. And they were Thunder to play on the opponent's side of the map from so early on. Just a couple of deaths here and there can set back those BKBs, and it just spirals out of control.
Could they have done something in the lane for FlyToMoon to, I don't know, let the lanes not go as heavily in favor to VGJ.Thunder? Could they have rotated maybe the Tusk somewhere else or sack top lane in a different way?
Well, if they rotated Tusk on top, having 3 against the 2 is fine. Maybe they would get more out of this, especially for their carry, and they could get a couple of kills on the supports as well. Not, I mentioned before the draft, that's why I always mention Puck after you pick Tusk and one more hero that doesn't provide any control. It's kind of a free Puck game, so hard to use the combo that he has.
Yeah, it really was the dive potential. You were so right to focus that on that in the draft, that Puck and Willow combo just playing behind that top tier 1 tower of the Gyro. You know, it's one thing, Gyro can last hit in the shadow of his tower in the hands of a skill player if he needs to, but having to worry about constantly being dived from both directions, it's just so hard to play your game if you're silent in that situation. And look, I doubted the role swap. I still, you know, I'm not convinced it's a good thing going forward, but it sure looked good in this game. Sylar is one of the best farming players in Dota 2 history, and Freeze did his job really, really well going for that Blink, Shadowblade, Echo Saber, maximum initiation, maximum burst. That's what really kept the pressure on the farming cores of FlyToMoon.
Now look at the damage output right now from Medusa.
Yeah, this is the thing. That's 22 minutes, okay? 22 minutes in the game. You are supposed to, with the BKB on Gyrocopter, be able to stand your ground in that team fight, but Medusa is just, she's a full item of where she's ahead of where she's supposed to be at that point in the game, and that makes all the difference in that fight.
I mean, maybe not the biggest fan for the role swap, but I think for a Medusa and a Tiny, they basically swapped lanes, but in reality, their roles were still the same as if they weren't role swapped, if you will. Just with the farming Medusa, they're helping out. And the fact that Gyrocopter really never came online the way he should be, it's a big tell.
Yeah, they kind of lacked control on the side of FlyToMoon, and the VGJ.Thunder has a lot. You have a Puck, you have a Tiny, you have a Lion. Most of the time Lion was caught out of position and died before the fights even started. Imagine if it was otherwise, then this game would have been even easier for VGJ.Thunder.
Yeah, the highlight before this one was really telling. If the observer had clicked on the OD, and
Finally.
you could see how close he was to BKB when he ate that death. That was like, he just needed a couple more creeps, and he's got BKB, and they can maybe take a fight. But, you know, Gods made the point during the game, which I thought was really good. You have those BKBs. You need to be the ones on the offensive because of the initiation coming out from the side of VGJ.Thunder, and by that point, VGJ was just setting up camp on the dire side of the map.
Maybe I underlooked a little bit. I think that Medusa comes way faster online than OD in terms of when they fight 1 versus 1. OD doesn't build into MKB, the Bloodthorn early on. It's those are costly items. So when she finishes a Butterfly, which would come up in a minute, like there's really no way to deal with it. And also you rely on the right clicks from Gyro to deal the damage to Medusa.
But Gyro has to build a BKB first, so the time for him to do the damage, like he needs more time.
You know, obviously, anytime you go 0-3 on the panel predictions like that, you do question some of the assumptions going in. But it's so hard to foresee. The side lanes went so heavily in favor of VGJ.Thunder.
I want to say VGJ.Thunder, but production.
No,
oh,
you
yeah, they
weren't
just twisted your arm, right? You know, that's what happened. Sure, look up.
All right. Now, thank you, production.
No, it's all good. Still, Iceberg with the kill statistics there. I mean, it's great to get kills, but if you can't really transition them into anything else, it's.
I mean, I think he's still. I think you have to call this a pretty good tournament overall for FlyToMoon.
Yes.
Oh, for sure.
I think they've got to be happy with where they are. They have a lot to build on, especially especially non-Grata. I thought even from the last game to this game was a little better on the Doom than he was on the Clockwork in the previous game.
Some of these players are going to collect the LAN experience that they need. Silent is the old school guy. He has more than enough. But it's going to be good for them for the other qualifiers and probably the CIS international qualifiers as well.
They, yeah, because they're already heading for Epicenter. They qualified for that one, so they're on the right track. And maybe not getting the chance to prove that they are the second best CIS team tomorrow against Vega. I'm sure they'll get the chance in the future because they look good. They look solid. A couple of tweaks here and there, and they're on the way up.
You know, playing against top quality international competition, that is how you improve, and I loved it. At the very end, the camera shot caught Yang and Fade kind of patting Sylar on the head, thanking their veteran for the carry, and no doubt.
Well done,
I think my old Commodore 64 could have run the algorithm to predict Sylar as the MVP for this game.
Yeah, he just did really well. And it was a good game from him. Still, not the VGJ.Thunder. Maybe we were hoping to see at least. You know, they're on the way up again.
Yeah, they're on the way up. They caught my eye during the Galaxy battles, which they actually won. They were looking so hot back then. But if they keep this form, but I mean they need to upgrade this form, and if they keep it. They're gonna be really good.
Yes, and they have a chance to prove that tomorrow in the semifinals because they make it out of their group, and that is Group A completely done. It is Optic that obviously is already in the semifinals. They move forward on that Group A on Thursday, and now VGJ.Thunder will join them in the semifinals, not against each other, but it will be Vega Squadron that VGJ.Thunder will face. Optic, though, they have yet to get an opponent. And we have our second rematch today. It's going to be Na'Vi taking on Fnatic to decide who moves forward to the second semifinals and who gets points, who gets to be top 4, who gets to go up against Optic. Before that happens, though, we are going to take a short break, and we'll be right back with our last series of the day.